Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen, joined by resident panelists. I am Jerrell, Ajay the Villain, Hollywood, Geoff Klafter from the Happily Ever Klafter Daily Sports Blog, and Jerrell from the Die Hard Giants Live podcast. Today is part one of our season preview. So today we're going to go over the other teams in the Eastern Conference. I know, we all feel the Knicks have the best roster in the league. Why are we even wasting our time? But we got to know the competition, right? So we're going to go over the depth charts for the top 10, 11 teams in the Eastern Conference. We actually rank them. And that's interesting too. So I'm going to put up that slide. We don't do a lot of slides on this show. I kind of like to have a barbershop, hair salon vibe, right? Where you just sitting back, kicking it, or as I like to say, just nicking it. But I thought for tonight's show, it would be good to, bring in some slides so we can see the different rosters from the other teams in the Eastern Conference and compare the Knicks to it and see what the competition may be. What were some sneaky signings from other teams other than the Knicks that may help the competition, some underrated signings in the Eastern Conference, and just our thoughts on the team. I think it's widely held that there's a clear road, to the finals, through the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is weaker, right? With Boston and Indiana sustaining some injuries, but there's always teams that kind of move into that vacuum, so to speak. So it's going to be good to talk about it. And there's some surprises because I got the rosters today from Jay and Ajay, the rankings, I should say. Some surprisings about where the Knicks ranked in the Eastern Conference from our panel members. But before we get into all of that, Jerrell, Ajay, Geoff, how you doing?
Hey, salute to everybody. Salute to the chat, man. Happy to be here.
Salute, man. I feel like it's been a minute, man. I think I only missed last Thursday show, but I feel like
I don't know. You've been mad inconsistent lately, so I don't really know. I don't know the last time you was on.
I missed one show. Come on.
Ajay missed one show in like 2 years.
Right?
No.
Mad inconsistent. That's not consistent.
One show in 2 years now. You've been mad inconsistent.
You either make all of them or you don't make them. That's consistency.
Right.
I just feel like I've been getting a lot of texts. I'm not going to make it this week. I'm not going to make it this week. I'm not going to make it this week. I don't know. Anyway, I guess, before we maybe we should get right into it, right? We could talk about, Brogdon and who we think should take the last roster spot. You want to save that to the end?
I might as well get it over with. Like Brogdon.
Get it over with. All right.
Before we get into everything else.
Yeah.
All right.
So, hot topic.
All right. So let's go into that. Malcolm Brogdon mysteriously retired. I don't know if they called him to the office and said he wasn't going to make the team and he got discouraged.
That's what I think, Steph. Before you even get to me, that's what I think.
It just came out of the blue. I don't know if they promised him. Who was the guy? Trevor Keels. I don't know if they gave him like a Trevor Keels thing that we're gonna hit you off, on the back end, make sure you stay involved. I don't know what it was, but he's out. He's retired. I'm not sure if that means that now they won't trade. That there's no need to trade a player unless now they're considering Shamet and Garrison Matthew or something of that of that sort. And then there's on Twitter, the Knicks should go after Oladipo. I saw some Ben Simmons. I saw some Spencer Dinwiddie, who was recently let go by the Charlotte Hornets. I think he had signed a minimum contract with them, obviously non-guaranteed. So Spencer Dinwiddie is out there. Just the thoughts on the retirement, and if you have any thoughts about who the Knicks should sign or whether or not they should sign anybody, and just kind of go with who they have.
I definitely thought that they told him that he wasn't going to make the team, so he retired. thought this was his last hoorah anyway.
Mhm.
The way that he played during the preseason didn't really look, that good to me. And I think that they told him that he wasn't going to make the team. So to save face, instead of getting cut or anything like that, why not retire? Makes sense. Yeah, but I didn't know. I actually didn't know about the Spencer Dinwiddie news.
Yeah.
If we're talking about a replacement for Brogdon, he's definitely somebody that can do that. Like he's a ball handler, tall guy. I know, Ajay, you don't like him.
Yeah, please. Yeah, okay.
Not personal. It's about that chip.
I
You
know.
know, you like to hold on to things, What he said
and
5 years ago when he was with the Nets. He's been on 6 teams since then.
And Dinwiddie's the missing piece.
No, I don't think anybody's going to be the missing piece. Like anybody that we get right now, I don't think it's going to be the reason we win a championship, but it'll definitely help. Like we obviously still need a backup point guard unless you're going to put all your chips in with Tyler Kolek. I don't know if they're going to do that yet. So somebody like Spencer Dinwiddie, I didn't know he was out there. That's somebody, as long as he's healthy, he's definitely can be our backup, a backup guard coming off the bench. And plus he's 6'6". So not saying that he uses that 6'6" like he's some good defender or anything, but he's at least, got a little bit of height to him. But just to make it real quick, I didn't know Spencer Dinwiddie was available. Out of the people that you name, I would probably pick him. Victor Oladipo, I like the way that he's been looking too with the clips that I've seen. Malik Beasley, he's got cleared by the real authorities, but he's being investigated by the NBA now, so he's still an option also at a cheap price. That will be a absolute steal, but he won't be like a secondary ball handler or anything, but that is definitely a roster spot that could be taken by him. Like he's good enough to do that. But yeah, I think Brogdon was told that he wasn't going to make the team.
Okay. All right. Ajay?
So I wasn't surprised that Malcolm Brogdon left. I was actually more surprised that he came on board to even be part of the preseason roster. So I don't know. I was really, really surprised that he agreed to come to the Knicks to anything. Like he never. I don't know. I don't know if it's something he said. I don't know what it is, but I always felt like Malcolm Brogdon, because we had so many opportunities to go after him. And it just never worked. I felt like he's not somebody who ever wanted to play for the Knicks. So I was more shocked. I was more surprised that he actually came on board and be with the team. Just like you, Jerrell, they probably told him like he's not gonna make it. So or maybe he wanted to retire a Knick. I don't know. So I don't know what that was, but yeah, that's kind of messed up. Like he just could have made his decision 3 weeks ago and let us try somebody else out. But whatever.
I don't think it hurts the Knicks that he retired, and he may not. He may have needed to go through this process to help him make the decision. I mean, the Knicks.
Yeah, but why drag everybody along with you making your decision?
Yeah, honestly, those minutes could have just went to somebody else.
Could have went to somebody else.
If he
That's
knew,
the only thing.
right? If he knew is what I'm saying. Who may not have known is what I'm saying.
True.
This process of going through training camp may have helped him make that decision. And if it's the Knicks who said you're not going to make the team, then maybe that wasn't even his decision. Maybe he made that decision after the Knicks told him you're not going to make this team. Who knows? But Geoff, your thoughts on it?
I don't know. From Shams reporting, I kind of got the indication that he was going to make the team. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when I saw the Shams report, it seemed like he had a roster spot and he just decided, I don't want to play for whatever reason, which, I think it's disappointing. I think he was at least a template of a player, if he was healthy, that this team really needs. I think that's where the hole in the roster is, or the biggest hole in the roster, I should say, is. And so I was disappointed that about that, but on to the next. But and I saw when the Spencer Dinwiddie news came out, I was intrigued by that, and then I did a cursory look at his stats, and I'm like, we already have Spencer Dinwiddie. His name is Jordan Clarkson. And Clarkson does pretty much everything that Dinwiddie does better already. And so, like, if you're gonna sign Dinwiddie, just stick with Clarkson, in my opinion. I don't think there's like Dinwiddie's less efficient. He's a worse shooter somehow. And his assist numbers aren't better. So like I think we have enough duplication on the roster as it is. I think that's one of my complaints with having both Matthews and Shamet kind of competing for the last spot. They kind of a big overlap there. I don't see a lot of versatility with either one of those players. Not that they're bad. I think that they both, can add value to this team, but I just, I would like to see something a little bit different, I think, than just that. I mean, and I guess he's 6'5" or 6'6", so he's a little bit taller, but he's a negative. I mean, according to Box Plus Minus, I think he's negative on both sides of the court. So I don't, he's a guy who puts up stats, but I don't know if he's a guy who makes your team better. And for the last roster spot, I mean, it may be as well as you can do, but I'd just as soon go with someone who's already in camp and who we've seen how they play with these guys, or just leave the spot open for perhaps someone else. Maybe I think I would almost rather have Dennis Smith Jr. than Spencer Dinwiddie, and I'm not a big Dennis Smith Jr. fan, but if the Mavs end up letting him go, I would rather have a guy like that, I think, than and I'd have to look at it a little bit, or maybe that may be a hot take, but I'm just not a big fan of Dinwiddie's, and I do think that I was in love with the idea of Brogdon, but the reality of Brogdon was something else, and it almost looked like in his forays into the paint, almost like his heart wasn't in it. Like he didn't have that burst and that explosiveness that he was known for earlier in his career. He didn't shoot the ball poorly in his minutes in preseason, but a lot of people said on both ends of the floor, it kind of looked like he was playing in quicksand, and maybe that's why he gave it up. Maybe it's like, I don't quite have that extra gear, that boost, that whatever it is to really play at the level I know how. So I'm going to step away. So.
Yeah, I will say this about Dinwiddie. He is inefficient, but he at least played the point guard position. He at least knows how to manage a team much more than Clarkson. I would feel more comfortable with him in that second unit with the ball in his hand than Clarkson. Not necessarily shooting, but managing the team. We shall see. We shall see what they do. I still think the Knicks need some experience. If you're not going to have, I think then I would like the Knicks to have 3 point guards on the roster with experience. And right now it's just Brunson. I don't consider Clarkson or Deuce a point guard. And I take it that the Knicks maybe feel that they don't need a floor general in that second unit. Maybe they feel that, as long as you're moving the ball in that second unit, that's good enough. The collective decision-making, so to speak, will be enough. I don't necessarily agree. And I'm not a big Kolek fan, just overall and in terms of experience. So we shall see. Playing well in preseason is one thing. Playing against NBA guards game in and game out in an important position. Like, it's not like if you're Hukporti is, if somebody's injured, Hukporti will come in, or maybe Hukporti will get, 5 to 8 minutes a game, but he's not the primary backup to Karl-Anthony Towns, right? I'm not for, if Kolek is going to play 5 to 8 minutes a game and he's the 10th guy, I'm good with that. If he's the primary backup to Brunson, I'm not good with that. I do think we need some more experience. And in that case, to me, the second best lineup would be Deuce and Clarkson in the second unit, and see what you can get over Kolek. The Knicks are trying to win a championship. Yes, you can lean on young players. Don't get me wrong. They can come up big, but I don't think you can put them in situations where you're counting on them game in and game out. And if he's the primary backup to Brunson, you're counting on him game in and game out. I just don't think it's fair to him to put him in that position, though I think he would relish that role. But I think if the Knicks are serious about winning the championship, you don't put Kolek as the primary backup to Brunson. Not that he can't get consistent time, but not as the primary backup to Jalen. Any other thoughts on, what the Knicks should do with that last spot? Just leave it as is. Maybe choose between Shamet, Garrison Matthews, and there was one other guy, Ryan Murphy, or continue with the reports that I don't know if they're still looking to sign two now that Brogdon has retired. But what would you like to see the Knicks do?
I'm not sure. I like Matthews. I like the way that he played in the preseason. Yeah, I guess it would have to be between Matthews and Shamet. But to me, well, you said two spots, so maybe sign both of them.
Well, I think there's only room for one. I think if they sign two, then they have to trade somebody, kind of like what they were talking about. But I think with Brogdon gone, maybe they just sign one.
Well, if that's the case, if it is only one, it will, to me, it seemed like Landry Shamet would probably be the natural fit just to slide back in there. He was already on the team, so. But we also have a brand new coach, so it's actually no telling. I have no idea what Mike Brown brain is like over there compared to Tibbs, so I have no idea.
Ajay, you finished with your paperwork over there? Any
No, I'm still. What? You hear me flicking papers? You don't hear anything.
He's printing out that fancy schedule he's got.
I know.
Season, that's what he's doing.
I see a lot of some people mention DeLon Wright. What do you guys think of that?
He just got cut by
picked up by somebody.
I thought he got picked up and then he got cut.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he got hurt it was the beginning of the game. I forgot who ran into him, but somebody ran into him and he got messed up pretty bad. They had to leave the game and then he got cut after that. So yeah, but he's definitely, just because he was on the team last year, he's obviously an option, but I don't see them bringing in anybody else like that.
Because you would have to trade somebody to bring him in. Am I off here? Like, my understanding.
It's possible they could not sign Landry or Matthews, and then they would have one vet minimum spot available.
Correct.
So they could. So basically, you have one of four options. The first one is that you keep Landry Shamet, and then you sign Diawara to the rookie vet deal, the rookie minimum deal, and that's how you get to 14, because we have to get to 14 by the 15th day of the regular season, I think, is when you have to have your 14 player minimum, and we're at 12 right now. And so we can do that. We can trade one of Kolek or Daddier away, and they'll open up a roster spot that way, and then we could do Matthews and Shamet, or one plus somebody else at the vet min, whatever the case may be. Or we can, we can get rid of both Shamet and get rid of both of them, sign Diawara to the rookie deal, and then bring in somebody else. So those are basically, and to me, Landry Shamet seems like the obvious choice to stay. Like he was here last year. He did a good job. If he didn't hurt his shoulder the last game before training camp, I think he would have been in last year's rotation from Jump Street. He's got the right attitude about staying ready, about, and so I think that Shamet makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I know he doesn't give us the point guard, lead guard aspect to his game, but we're going to have to go outside of the roster if we're going to bring in someone with lead guard skills at this point. So, and I don't know if they're going to do that or not.
Yeah. I would feel comfortable, just me personally, if we had somebody familiar with the actual point guard position, but we shall see. We shall see. All right. Let's get into our Eastern Conference rankings. Then we'll get into the depth charts of the different teams, and then we'll start talking about surprise moves, competition for the Knicks. All right. All right. So this is Eastern Conference rankings. Me, Geoff, Ajay, Jerrell, you can definitely add to this. Top 6 making the playoffs. I have New York, Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit, Milwaukee, and Miami. I like Miami's roster. We'll get into that. And I like them a little better than Atlanta. We'll get into that. Geoff has Cleveland. Wow. Come on now. Y'all couldn't put the Knicks first. All right. They had Cleveland. I'm kidding. Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Orlando, Boston, 5. Wow. And Detroit. So, these are the teams actually making the playoffs. We'll get into the play-in a little later. Ajay has the top 6 in the Eastern Conference: Cleveland, New York, Orlando, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Atlanta. So I think the difference is I have Miami, Geoff has Boston, and Ajay has Milwaukee, right? In the top 6. The play-in, I have Atlanta, Toronto, Philly, Indiana. I don't have Boston at all. I have Boston, trying to make the play-in. But again, we'll go over the rosters. Geoff in the play-in has Milwaukee, Indiana, Philly, and Miami. And Ajay in the play-in has Indiana, Boston, Philly, and Miami. It was interesting that we all have Philly 9. Would you agree, though, that for Philadelphia, that's pretty much based on health or lack thereof, that if they were healthy, you would have them higher in the rankings? Is that true, Ajay, Geoff, for you?
So when I came up with this, I assumed this is with the assumption that everybody's healthy on all the teams. I still have Philly down there because I don't think they have enough. Like, even with past, I don't think, Paul George, Joel Embiid. I just don't think they have enough to compete. With the
you're assuming they were healthy. So you're saying even if they're healthy,
even if they're healthy,
wow.
These guys are not young. I just don't think they can keep up with the. I think the injury history kind of is gonna show that it took a even if they're healthy this season, it's gonna show that it took a toll on them for them being so injured so often in the past. So it's gonna take, this is the top league, man. You got to be in top shape. You got to be everything has to be top. And these guys, man, they the past couple of seasons they haven't been top notch, and it's kind of hard coming back and all of a sudden be a top player in this league. I just don't see them two guys carrying this team. Maxi's probably what can if he's, of course, again, if everybody's healthy, I think Maxi's going to be the one carrying this team, and the other two guys is going to be 2A, 2B to him.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Once we go through the rosters, we're going to revisit this. Because I changed things around too. Once I looked at the depth chart, I kind of changed some things around. So once we go through the depth chart, we'll come back to the screen and see if there's any changes. Geoff, with Philly, was your ranking based on that you didn't think they would be healthy?
Yeah, their lack of health was kind of baked into the cake. I actually think that if they have good health this year, they could easily be a top 3 seed. I don't want to go into. When we get to the actual rosters, I'll kind of go into some reasons why. Right. But I think when that roster has all of its weapons available, they're as good as anybody in the East, and they can be dangerous. But I just don't have faith that all of them. Paul George is already having question marks and issues. Like, Joel's healthy for now, but how does he? does that last, or is he, is the ambulance picking him up after 25 games? We don't know, right? And so Philly is probably the biggest question mark to me. I could see them back in the lottery if they have another doom and gloom injury season. I could see them up near the top of the standings, and I could also. So I just kind of made a bet in the middle and said, put them in the play-in, because I figure that'll be some combination of injuries and so forth that will knock them down a peg, because that's what happened to them last year. And typically when it comes to NBA injuries like the ones that they've had, they're not stuff that just goes away. Like, it tends to linger on and carry over, just with the type of injuries. I mean, Embiid's always had struggles with his health, and Paul George is not getting any younger. And so, but I do want to say more about Philly, but I'll wait till we talk about the specific roster to get into my thoughts on them.
Yeah, I mean, just going on this again, we haven't gotten to. Well, let's get into the roster. I was going to ask about Atlanta, but we can wait till we get there. Let's get into it. All right, so I actually grouped them just based on how I rank them. All right, so this is Cleveland. Darius Garland is injured right now. Anybody hear anything about when he's projected to be back? No. All right. So we got Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Lonzo Ball, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Thomas Bryant, Larry Nance Jr. And obviously I have the Knicks on on this side. I had to hustle up because Brogdon retired. So that's why I was late. I had to change that. Thoughts on Cleveland? I know both you, Geoff, and Ajay had them first. But Jerrell, I guess. Well, actually, let me go back. Hold on. Sorry, Jerrell. Any thoughts on these rankings? Like, do you see anything that you would that maybe we had low that you would put in the top 6, or somebody maybe we had in the top 6 that you would rank lower before we actually get into the roster?
I don't know about the order, but I think I might go with Ajay's list that I agree with him. I don't know about the order though, just because I'm high on the Hawks. And I think the Bucks might be like, I switched the Hawks and the Bucks.
Okay.
And maybe, us in Cleveland also might be 1 and 2. But I'm not as high on Boston. Geoff has them 5, and I'm not as high on the Heat. You have them 6. But I think that all of them could be in the bottom between 5 and 8. I think it could be, it's a pick 'em. And I do agree with everybody with the Sixers. Like, they're just not healthy. If they were healthy, it'll be a completely different story. But I can't count on Embiid or Paul George at this point.
Yeah. And Embiid looks good, right? He's lost some weight. But again, I'm with Geoff. If they're healthy, I do think they're a top 4 team in the East. I know Geoff said top 3. I think they're a top 4 team if healthy. But it's just hard to bank on that, just seeing how what their health has been over the past few years. All right. So thoughts on the Cleveland roster? I know everyone think the Knicks have the better roster, probably everybody's going to say, but thoughts on Cleveland and Ajay and Geoff, why you had them ranked higher than the Knicks, and Jerrell, would you have had them ranked number 1 as well?
Yes, I actually probably would have had them number 1 and us number 2, but I definitely could have switched them. It all depends on how I felt that day. But just because they had a better record than us last year, we got a new coach. You don't know how we're going to start the season with the new coach. So just from camaraderie reasons, I will have them above us for now.
Yeah,
that is exactly. So Cleveland and the Knicks is like literally 1A, 1B. I give them a slight edge because of continuity, right? So they've been together obviously longer, and they've had a coach. They've been in that system. Like, I mean, we starting a new system. We just don't know what to expect. We have an idea. We know what Mike Brown's done in the past, but we don't know what he's done with this roster that we have. Right. So because we already know what Cleveland do, and they beefed up their roster a little bit. So that's why I give him a slight edge over the Knicks. And a quick reminder, saying that that doesn't mean, like, they probably could have a better record, but that doesn't mean we go into the finals. That's like already established. But Cleveland could probably have a better regular season record than we do, because they've been together a little bit longer. That plays a huge role, man. Chemistry, continuity with these guys knowing what each other's tendencies are.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well they're going to get out the gate with Darius Garland's injury. If there's anybody in the chat who has an update on his injury, let me know. I do think the Lonzo Ball signing, when he is healthy, is a really good signing for them. If Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, right?
Right.
He's had some health issues last year. It seems like he could have played, but Chicago was very cautious and did not play him in back-to-back situations. The bench, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Thomas Bryant, Larry Nance. Your thoughts on the bench of Cleveland?
I don't know. I think their bench isn't bad. Larry Nance Jr. is a pretty good player, and Thomas Bryant's a stretch five. Dean Wade is Fred Katz's favorite player. Lonzo Ball, as you said, is really solid. So I don't think their bench is necessarily that weak. I mean, and they won 64 games a year ago. That's quite a bit, and most of their core is intact. I mean, you can say what you want, but I really think that this is a team that's built to win in the regular season. I'm not as afraid of that. I think they could lose to any number of teams once they get to the playoffs, but I really think that this is a team that's set up to win a lot of regular season games. I would not be surprised to see them have another 60-win season. Lonzo Ball has looked really good there. I think he's just what the doctor ordered in a lot of ways for that team. I think he pairs well with either Mitchell or Garland. So there's that. And DeAndre Hunter, this is his first full season as a Cavalier, so I think that's going to make a difference. And then you've got the two big men. I think that if they do have any weakness, it would kind of be at the 4 spot. I think, I'm not overly convinced that they've got a lot of depth there, but with Mobley and Allen being so interchangeable, all you really need is one of Bryant or Nance to be serviceable, and you've got a decent big man rotation. So even that's not that huge a regular season weakness. Now we can talk about how if their reputation for being soft when it comes to the playoffs or what have you, but I think it's a really good team, and I think they're going to win a lot of regular season games.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Knicks are deeper. I think Darius Garland being out creates a hiccup for them. I'm not sure how smoothly Lonzo. I don't know if it's going to run as smoothly as it did last year. How they just came out of the gate and won like the first 35 games or whatever it is. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. With Lonzo Ball filling in for Garland. And I don't know. I just felt like the Knicks, the offense it's not in top gear right now. But I think both teams are going to have some early hiccups. Obviously, the Knicks with the new coach, Cleveland with Garland's injury. I do think that at the end of the day, I do think the Knicks will have a better record. We shall see. But you guys are right, in a sense that they have continuity, and they also have some pain. They have some pain, of losing in the, in the first round. So that may be a big motivator for them also. We shall see.
We'll get to see them up close and personal game 1. So we'll have a really good idea of what they look like early on. Not that game 1 doesn't, it's a game in the standings, so it matters. But, we know from last year getting smoked by Boston in the opener, just because whatever happens to the opener how you start isn't necessarily what you are when you finish. So regardless of how that happens, but I definitely am intrigued to see, how we stack up right away there.
Yeah, for sure.
Steph.
Yep.
Real quick, can you go back to the y'all list again?
Yes, absolutely.
Real quick.
Mhm.
Out of like most of the teams all of you have the top 6, pretty much the same teams except for maybe 1 or 2, right?
Mhm.
Would you say Lonzo Ball is the best addition?
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions for tonight.
Oh, okay.
I think he's one of them,
Okay.
but some of these other teams have, I think, also made some additions that I think will help them. And then we can talk about which one we think is the best signing or will help their team the most, besides the
I
Knicks
don't.
signings, of course.
I don't think. I think right off the bat, I could tell you Miles Turner is the best addition to Milwaukee Bucks out of all that.
Yeah, but they lost Dame though.
Yeah, but if you're just talking about best addition, like
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see where
true.
you're coming from.
Best
But if you're
addition.
just talking about a guy that added, to me, Kristaps is the best addition to a
To
All
team.
right.
I think
to the Hawks.
Let's table this discussion till we
Oh,
go
my
through
bad.
that's one of the
Okay.
questions. That's one of the
My
questions.
bad, I didn't know that. Okay.
No,
My
no,
bad.
it's fine. It's fine. All right, let's move on to Orlando. And this depth chart was from ESPN. Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, Paulo Panchero, or Carroll, whichever one. Wendell Carter Jr., Tyus Jones, and Anthony Black, Jace Richardson, Tristan Da Silva, Jonathan Isaac, Moritz Wagner, and Gaga Bazadi. I hope I said that.
Goga Batadze.
Batadze. All right. Thoughts on thoughts on Orlando's roster? Desmond Bain coming over from Memphis and giving them the shooting that they desperately need. I don't know if one shooter is enough. But thoughts on Orlando and how the competition, the challenge to the Knicks.
Real quick, I guess to be honest, I answered my own question because I kind of forgot that Bain was over there now, so that probably is the answer to the question: who got the best addition? Desmond Bain works perfectly for them. He slides right in. The 2 guard last year was Caldwell Pope, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think he's a way better player than Caldwell Pope at this stage of his career. So I really like them. I like they starting 5. They just have to stay healthy too. Most of their best players got hurt last year. That was good for us. We might not get that same fortune this year, so we might have to play them straight up. Their starting 5 is pretty good. Their bench, I like Anthony Black, I like Tyus Jones, but the rest of them, I still think we do have a better bench.
I like Jonathan Isaac. I wonder if 1 year removed from the injury, because they also treated him with kid gloves last year as well.
True.
Will they feel more comfortable kind of letting him loose? Is he, is he more comfortable himself? Yeah.
True.
I've always liked him coming off the bench. Ajay, Jeff, you wanted to add anything about Orlando?
I just think that I think Tyus Jones is actually a sneaky good pickup for them. Like I'm not really sold on Jalen Suggs as a lead guard. So, I think that's probably, if there's an Achilles heel to this team, it is kind of the shot creation and 3-point shooting aspect. Bain is a terrific shooter, but the rest of those guys can build a new building in Orlando faster than you can say Jackie Robinson. And that's pretty much up and down the roster. They don't have a lot of shooting, but they will guard you, and sometimes that overcomes. And what we saw last year was when Wagner and Banchero were healthy at the same time, that group is just killer for teams. They're just matchup nightmare because they have so much size, and then they can back it up, and they can bring in Isaiah and Mo Wagner and Goga, and they just they come at you in a different way than most NBA teams. And like I said, they can guard you. So I actually think Orlando is really good. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Jalen Suggs. I don't know if Desmond Bain, just as you said, Queen, I don't know that he just solves their shooting issues. He's a good shooter. But again, when he's the focal point if defense is their king. Well, we know we have to keep a guy on him. Is he going to be able to shoot at the same level that he did when he was next to John Morant and some of those other and Triple J? I don't know. We'll see. I think he's a good player, but I don't know that he solves all their shooting woes. But they're going to guard you every possession, and that makes them a really difficult matchup for anybody.
That's what I was about to say. They're the defense and the length. Jonathan Isaac, Wagner, Moritz Wagner, Batazzi coming off the bench. I mean, Batazzi is not that. He's what, 6'10"?
Something like that.
Yeah, but they have some, they have a lot of length. So Anthony Black is, if I'm not mistaken, 6'4", 6'5" at the point guard position, and they were a really good defensive team last year as well. They just couldn't shoot that well. So
I believe he's taller than that.
Taller than that. Anthony Black's got to be taller than that.
He's like 6'6", 6'7".
There you go.
Yeah, he's a big guard.
I liked him coming out of the draft. Really did.
Sherwin says Jalen Suggs in the chat he said is a complete player. He averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, about 4 assists with a 41% field goal percent. Well, a field goal percent.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that said 3-point percentage at first. 21% field goal percentage. He needs to get better. And he said Black is 6'7". So they do have a lot of height, defensive tenacity. They built the opposite of the Knicks. I mean, you can say
that's a good team.
Yeah,
and I like their coach too.
Yeah,
yes,
good coach.
Yeah. All right, moving right along, we got Detroit. Now, I had Detroit 4. I just want to go back. I had Detroit 4. Geoff had them 6. Aj 5. Okay, so we all had them at least making the playoffs. So their starters, as per ESPN depth chart, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, who was injured, didn't play in the playoffs last year, at least against the Knicks. Ausar Thompson, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren, Marcus Sasser, Karis LeVert is a new signing for them. Duncan Robinson from Miami, new signing for them. Ronald Holland II, if I'm not mistaken, he was a rookie last year.
Yep.
He played really good in spot minutes for them. Isaiah Stewart, healthy, didn't play in that series against the Knicks. And then also Paul Reed and D. Jenkins, whoever that is, rounds out the situational or what seems to be situational players. Thoughts on Detroit? Do you think they're better? They lost Schroeder, Malik Beasley. They signed Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson. Yeah, thoughts on Detroit?
So, question before thoughts. I'm sorry. Did they lose Malik Beasley, or is that still possibly he goes back there?
Well, I think I guess it is.
He's not under contract with anybody right now, so I mean, and he's under investigation by the NBA, so he might be suspended and not available. We don't really he was cleared by law enforcement, I guess, of whatever issues that he had with, but the NBA is still conducting their own investigation, and that doesn't mean that they won't mete out some punishment. But he is currently a free agent. He is not a member of the Detroit Pistons roster right now.
But still a possibility that they sign him.
A possibility, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually think that Dennis Schroeder is a big missing piece for them. I didn't think about it at first, but then when we were on with Lee and I was talking about the Pistons, Queen, on the Nick of Time, he was talking about that. I was like, you know what? He may be right, because Karis LeVert is a good player, but he doesn't really replicate that, and they don't really have anybody, in my opinion, who's able to come in and do the things that Schroeder did. So I kind of do feel like off the bench they are missing a playmaker. And I don't really think, even if Malik came back, that's not him. He's a sharpshooter. So I think if you're going to talk about a weakness on this squad, I think that would be it. And maybe that's why I put them a little lower, but I think Cade continues his ascendancy into one of the top 10 players in the league. A healthy Jaden Ivey should, if assuming he is, I heard he may miss the start of the regular season again already, but when Ivey played, he was very good, so that will help lighten Cade's load. I love Thompson defensively from the wing, and Harris is a functional player, and so is Duran. So, there's a lot of talent on this roster, and Cunningham's going to probably carry them to 45 wins. Any way you slice it is the way that I look at it.
I really like Detroit. I mean, I didn't see Schroeder was good for them. Did you see him more as a floor general or as a scorer that you had to, that when he was out there, you had another ball handler, so you really couldn't key in on Cade Cunningham? I didn't really see him so much as a floor general per se. Maybe he was. Jaden Ivey definitely is not that, but when they're both on the floor together, you cannot just key in on Cade Cunningham the way teams have been. And I think that's what Schroeder did. When he came in the game and he was with Cade, you couldn't just key in on him. So I think they're going to get some of that with Ivey, but obviously they're not going to get that floor general. Karis LeVert is another inefficient player, but when he's on, he's on. And Duncan Robinson can shoot the ball. He can shoot the ball. I think Holland, their rookie last year, will be better. Yeah, I like them. I agree with JJ, who said that they're a deep team.
They are.
They're a deep team.
Yeah, I really like them. I think between them and the Hawks, when we're talking about like the best teams in the league, or at least in the East Coast, we talk about record, but I'm just thinking about like if we matched up with them in the playoffs, this team is what give us the most problems out of the teams that we talked about so far.
Yeah,
like I think they give us a bigger problem than Cleveland, and who's the other team we Orlando in a 7-game series. Yes, I think Detroit will be a very, very tough out for us. I like them. They're young. They're tough. If they remain healthy, us not having to deal with Jaden Ivey or Isaiah Stewart last year in the playoffs was a big plus for us. If everybody's healthy for them and they have another year under their belt because they are young, I think they are a very, very tough matchup for us in a 7-game series.
Thoughts on their shooting, though? That was their Achilles heel last series as well. Malik Beasley was a shooter for them. He didn't have a great series, thank goodness. But do you think Duncan Robinson is enough? Like, who's the shooters on that team?
No, I don't think they're enough, but yeah, they don't have better shooting than us. But in a 7-game series, I still think they will be a problem. But in the regular season, yeah, they're going to be. They're not going to be one of the best 3-point shooters in the league or nothing like that.
They'll be a very scrappy team.
Right.
Their starting lineup, though, there's a weak link, Tobias Harris. I think that's gonna be. They need to figure that out. I think he's pretty much done at this point. Like, he should be coming off the bench somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's not gonna give you starter production. Like,
okay. What did he average last year? I think he was over 14, right?
I don't know, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest Tobias Harris fan either. I'm gonna look up his stats real quick.
Size 9 set, the same Tobias Harris who lit us up.
Lit us up?
Yeah, when he lit us up, when was that? In the playoffs?
Says, I have Detroit winning 50 games. I don't have the Knicks winning 50 games. Okay. All right.
He averaged 14 points, 13.7, and 6 rebounds, 2 assists. So he's okay. He's an average basketball player to me.
Yeah, but listen, he's one of many, right?
Right.
He's somebody that you're gonna have to pay attention to. You can't just unlike Josh Hart, one of my favorite players on the team. Don't get me wrong.
Just go
You're
throw
not
Josh under
leaving
the bus.
Tobias Harris though, right? Like you're leaving, like you're leaving Josh Hart.
That's true.
He does disappear sometimes,
He
though.
does.
He does.
He does.
It's kind of crazy with Harris. Like, he's so talented, but I mean, I think when in his younger days, he actually had the physical tools to be an elite player. He just never put it together. He's just one of those guys who looks great for a game or two, and then it's like, you don't even remember he's in the league, and then he'll have he'll have a really big game again, and at this point, he is who he is. Like, I think JJ made a great point. Who's the number 2 on that roster? Can Jaden Ivey fill that role? He's never really been that yet. Other than that, they don't really have one. And Cade is great, but I really do think that, especially come playoff time, you need to have a bona fide second option. Probably a bona fide third and fourth option, really, is what we learned. We know how much Jalen Brunson struggled to do it by himself in the playoffs.
I still think Detroit is going to be a tough out for the Knicks. And I get it. Schematically, things will be different, right? Offensively, defensively, lineup wise, new coach, adjustments may be different. Some people feel like we shouldn't have struggled against Detroit. I don't know. One of the questions, and Jerrell is just all in my notes. One of the question is, which team do you think would give the Knicks a hard time in the playoffs? And Detroit might be one of those teams. All right, moving on. Milwaukee. I just want to go back. Excuse me, guys. Just want to see where I had Milwaukee 5.
Mm-hmm.
Geoff 7. 4.
Ajay,
So
4.
Geoff had them in the play-in. Me and Ajay had them in the playoffs. Where do you see them, Jerrell?
Playing. I can see. Okay. Yeah, playing. I don't see them in the top 6.
Okay.
But yeah, I can see them getting there. But right now I will put them like at 7.
Okay. All right. So Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Miles Turner is their starting lineup. Off the bench, as per ESPN depth chart, off the bench, Cole Anthony, AJ Green, Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis, Jericho Sims, R. Rollins, M. Sears as situational players. I like. Well, I think Kevin Porter Jr. as your point guard. I mean, I don't know about that.
Yeah, he's not a point guard.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I like their bench. Cole Anthony is inefficient. He's another Clarkson. But if you remember Orlando in the playoffs last year, Cole Anthony won them at least one of those games. Like, he's definitely somebody that's not afraid of the moment, right? Taurean Prince is serviceable. I like Bobby Portis, Jericho Sims. We'll see. But I don't really see them as a better team as others may see them. But I am concerned about the point guard spot for them. Well, I'm not concerned, but that's a question mark for them, I think.
I think both guard spots are a question mark. Like, I'm not sold on Gary Trent Jr. I mean, he absolutely cost them at least 2 games in that Indiana series last year, if I remember right. Like, I think that backcourt is a disaster. Like, I honestly, I do. And I think and that's why I didn't have him in the top 6. Giannis can will a team to 40 wins, I'm sure, but that's probably the weakest backcourt he's ever had since he became an MVP candidate. I don't think their guards are good at all in a guard league. I'm really curious how that plays out. Turner is a good stretch 5, yes, but I don't. And I'm not a Kyle Kuzma fan either. I don't think there's a lot of efficiency in that lineup. Bobby Portis is good coming off the bench. So I think between he and Turner, you've got good big man rotation. I think that's good. But I just am not sold on Milwaukee's backcourt. And I don't know if the juniors as I call them, are enough to get it done. And I'm not a huge Cole Anthony fan, or AJ Green for that matter. So I really think there's a suspect backcourt in Milwaukee.
I will say this. I heard an interview with Doc Rivers. I think Giannis is really going to be the one handling the ball. So I think those other guys will be playing off of Giannis. So if you're playing fantasy, this might be the year you want Giannis, because he'll probably average near triple-double if they can hit shots. But from what I understand, he's actually going to be playing more point forward than usual, kind of going back to his usual role. I think when Dame was there, he played it less, but I think he's going back to that role with this team. But the question is there enough shooting around him, right? Even if he is bringing the ball up, can Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Kuzma, Turner, Anthony hit these shots that he's going to get them at a decent enough clip that creates space for him? And I think that is a question mark.
Yeah, I don't like this roster at all. Like, the only reason I have them so high is because of Giannis. Like, we talk about defense all the time. Who's playing defense on this team other than Giannis in that starting five? Like, I just don't like the way this is constructed at all.
Will be okay next to Antetokounmpo. You don't think he'll be? I mean, he's not a bad shot blocker / rim protector. I think he'll do just fine. As far as the other three, I agree with you though. But I don't think Turner is a disaster defensively.
Yeah, not a disaster. You're right about that. But Bobby Portis can play defense, obviously, too. Torian Prince can. But Cole Anthony coming off the bench, yeah, I like him individually, but you have 3 defenders, maybe 4 tops on this team. So I don't see it long term for them. I say Giannis would get pissed off by the All-Star break. And want to fight Kyle Kuzma at least twice before that happened. We'll see though.
Yeah, we shall see. Ajay, any thoughts on Milwaukee?
Well, I think I give him a little bit more credit than you guys do. Where do I have him? I think I have him 5th, maybe.
I thought it was 4.
I'll go back.
4th,
maybe. Yeah, 4.
You have them 4th. I have them 5th.
Yeah. Listen, man, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team, man, and I think Miles Turner is probably one of the best signings or additions in the Eastern Conference, and he's going to make a huge difference because he could give you a little. So they basically
they only got 4 defenders. Nick saying Knicks got 4 defenders. Go ahead. Sorry,
not wrong.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna be. I mean, yeah, you could make a case between them and Detroit, but I think experience is probably gonna give him the edge. Give him like 1 or 2 more games in Detroit over the regular season.
Wow, I will say this: they better get off to a hot spot, or those Giannis rumors is gonna heat up again.
Yeah,
they better be a competitive team.
No,
and
I agree with you.
Competitive, like you're in the game and you're losing. You're in the game with 2 minutes left, but you keep losing them. That's not what I mean. Like competitive in the standings. Otherwise, we're gonna, they're gonna have to deal with those rumors again, and we're gonna have to deal with those rumors again, right?
Especially if both teams get off to a slow start.
Right, and the Knicks may. I mean, the Knicks can hit the ground running like Cleveland did last year, or they could struggle a little bit out the gate, right? We shall see. All right. Anything else on Milwaukee? I think me and Ajay a little higher than on them than Jerrell and Geoff. All right. I have Miami over Atlanta, and we'll go back and see. I think you guys had Miami kind of low. Geoff had Miami 10 in the play-in.
So did
you guys had Miami 10.
And I really wasn't gonna have him on because I cannot stand Miami, but I'm like, Spo, Adebayo still there. You still got Tyler Hero. Like, they could probably get in there. But and Queen, I know your text, your last question, like who the sneaky 11 to me would have been the Raptors, and that's what I was gonna have in there was the Raptors. I was like, all right, let me give it to Miami.
Okay.
They have a better culture.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So potential starters, Tyler Hero is injured though, so he won't. From what I understand, I don't think he's going to start the season.
He's out 8 to 12 weeks, is my understanding. So
Wow.
That's part of the reason I had them so low. I was kind of in agreement with you, and then I was like, Harrow's is going to be out for a while. Norman Powell is quite good, I think, and Bam Adebayo is good, but Hero seems like he's the missing piece of that. I'm not sure Davion Mitchell can do the same things, but heat culture is heat culture. I mean, they always float around 7 to 10 these days, it seems, with rosters that aren't that great. So.
Yeah, I mean, 8 to 12 weeks, I might have to move them down a little bit myself, quite frankly.
Queen, it's the Heat, man. Spoelstra's gonna take a ride down to Miami Beach, find somebody on the corner, say, "Hey, can you put the ball through the hoops? Come on, like we'll make you an NBA player." And then that guy's gonna be playing well, and go on and get a good contract somewhere else.
Yeah, all right. So Tyler Hero injured, so it'll probably be Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, who I forgot was there, Nikola Jovic, who they signed to an extension, I believe, Bam Adebayo, Terry Rozier, wow, still on the roster. Is it Jaime?
Jaime Jaquez Jr., that's Ajay's favorite player.
Yeah,
man. Jr. I got Nikola Jovic twice. And Khalil Ware. I really like Khalil Ware.
Khalil Ware is good.
Absolutely love Khalil Ware.
I really like him.
I think lineups with he and Adebayo may be their best best way to go if he's healthy. Like he got hurt last year and missed some time, but if it was me, I think I would be pairing Ware and Adebayo together quite a bit. I'm not saying Jovic is bad or anything, but I'm not a big Wiggins fan, so he's whatever. But I think that they should. If I was Spo, I would have Ware and Adebayo on the court together as often as possible.
Yeah,
agreed.
When we finish, we'll go back and see if there's, after looking at the rosters, is there any team you would move up or down? I think I would move Miami down, given Tyler Hero's how long he'll be out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anything else on Miami? We're not even doing how they match up with the Knicks. Everybody feel like the Knicks.
Just
nobody matches up well with the Knicks. No, I'm just kidding.
Like I said, I didn't like the Bucks roster. I actually like Miami's roster just because of the three players, like the three players at the bottom of their bench that you have. Even though you got Jovic starting, I could see Khalil Ware as being their starting center and Bam Adebayo being there.
And if Tyler Hero is healthy, I kind of like their roster. If he was healthy,
so Scary Terry's he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, like I mean, anything can. Again, this is ESPN depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
You think he might start? You know, I haven't watched him in the preseason to see who's been starting in the preseason.
Yeah, but I think Jaquez had like a step back last year compared to his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Jaquez, Jovic, and Ware, they can be three players like for their future. If they have good games, they're going to be a serious problem.
Right. Yeah, I like Miami with Tyler Hero, but even with Tyler Hero, he's a combo guard. True. He's a combo.
He's
a problem. He and Powell will be a dynamic backcourt to go with. We already know they have decent front court. So you can have two really good guards. That elevates their ceiling. With Hero out for a couple of months, if that's the case, which is my understanding, I'm not sure that Mitchell, Rozier, and Jaquez meet that description.
Yeah, but if they're in shooting distance of a playoff spot, when he returns.
Watch out.
Right.
Dangerous team.
They can make some hay. All right. All right. Now I had Atlanta a little lower than the rest of you. Let me go back. I had Atlanta 7. Geoff had him 3rd, and AJ had him 6. All right. So that's Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Ricochet. I hope I got that right. Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis, and then off the bench, Luke Kennard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, what's that? Creaky?
Yeah, he started for them last year, actually, because of all their injuries. He
Right.
started a bunch of games for them. I'm not a fan, but at least he did start a bunch.
Asa Newell and Onyeka Okongwu. I don't see a. I don't know. I'll let you guys start.
My thing is Jalen Johnson is a really good basketball player.
He is.
Like he was until he got hurt, he was averaging 18, 10, and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that from the power forward spot. And you've got Dyson Daniels, who's a really good complement to Trae Young in the backcourt. And if Kristaps Porzingis' iron levels are up, now you have a rim protecting stretch 5 who can do a lot of damage. I've always been a fan of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think he's a really good addition off the bench. Okongwu can step in even if Kristaps is not able to play as many minutes. But my ranking on them is I like the shooting that they've added with Walker and Kennard. I think Kristaps is a perfect 5 for them to do a lot of different things, and I think Johnson, Ricochet, and Daniels are young and up and coming, and I think that they pose a lot of problems for teams because Young is dynamic in and of himself, and now you can hide him a little bit defensively with the rest of those guys, and really you have almost a 5-out threat like you were talking about with all guys who can do everything with the ball. I think that lineup kind of has that aspect to it with the starters, which is very difficult to cover.
Yeah. So I'm not banking on KP staying healthy. I agree that Jalen Johnson is a star. I really, really like him. Zachary Ricochet is a second-year player. How consistent is he going to be? I mean, he might take the next step. He might not. Dyson Daniels is a really good perimeter defender. He's not a great scorer or shooter. Maybe he'll improve on that this year as well. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is another really good defensive player, but I don't see him as a I'm not saying he can't shoot the ball, but I don't really see him as a shooter. I think there'll be a really good defensive team. I just wonder how consistent is Ricochet going to be? What are you getting from Nickeil Alexander-Walker other than defense? Okongwu has been he's been fine. I think Atlanta would say that they would have expected more out of him by this point in his career, but maybe this is the year he takes that next step. I don't know. And KP, to me, that's like talking about Embiid or talking about, will he be healthy for the season or not? I think, that changes things if he is. But I think Atlanta is okay. I think they're okay. I don't see him as a number 3 team, but I see him as a really good defensive team with young players who, if they pop, can cause a lot of problems. That's just my take. But Jerrell, Ajay?
Go ahead, Ajay.
That's to say, that's a very good team right there, Queen. And so Okongwu, which I know you're saying they probably expected more, but I thought he played very well last season. Did he start a couple of games when they traded DeAndre Hunter? Because I feel like he had a lot more minutes and he was more productive. last season when he had more responsibility. So I really expect him to be a lot better this season. I don't even know why they have him coming off the bench. I guess you have Kristaps Porzingis, but if you know, he could be a very very good five for them if Kristaps either is out or if they want to limit his minutes to kind of mitigate, to prevent injuries or whatever. So he's a very good option as your second center, or he could play the power forward as well. I think it's a very good team. Like the starting lineup, I mean, there's some weaknesses, especially with Dyson Daniels, who's not a scorer, as you mentioned, but he's defensive prowess. Like, it's amazing. Like, we play somebody like this, man. We've seen what he's done, not just to Brunson, but to a lot of other teams that, that have a dominant point guard. His point of attack defense is really, really one of the best in the league. And I think that's going to help a lot.
But I also think that the Knicks didn't help by having Brunson bring the ball up against him every time down the court, which doesn't have to be the case. Like, I do think that the Knicks have other options. I think we're going to play a different style. He's still going to be a really good perimeter defender. Don't get me wrong. But I just think the offensive schemes will help Jalen Brunson much more against Atlanta than last year when we played them. Not to take anything from Dyson Daniels.
And Luke Kennard, man, if he could still shoot, if he's still, that's
he can still shoot it. He doesn't do much else, but he can still shoot it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Steve Novak II over there.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that shooter they had last season coming off the bench?
Bogdanovich?
Yes, Bogdanovich. Where'd he go?
I don't know.
And he went out west.
Who was it?
I said I don't know.
Oh, Bogdanovich, is it? They traded him.
He went out west. Maybe the Clippers, maybe, or one of those teams.
I know the Kings sound right though, but
Kings?
I could be wrong.
Clippers. JJ said the Clippers.
Okay, Clippers. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Greedy Grizz, appreciate you rocking with us. Atlanta will be our biggest threat. Wow. Even without Porzingis. Just watch. They just got to stay healthy. Trey going to get back to passing where he is really the most dangerous.
Come on, Grizz. Come on, Grizz. Not our biggest threat.
But listen, you're counting on you're counting on Ricochet, a second-year player, to step it up. You're counting on Porzingis to stay healthy. You're counting on Nickeil Alexander-Walker to be something maybe a little bit more than he was in Minnesota. We'll see.
And we're just talking about them during the season, right? We're not talking about them
during the season, just where they were ranked. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the biggest hang up for me. Like, I think against us, the way they match up against us and the way they play us, they are a serious problem to us. Like, they always play, no matter who's on the team, no matter who's hurt on Atlanta or on our team, like, we go back and forth a lot. Like, we're rivals. But yeah, for a team during the season, when it comes to wins and losses, I think they'll be between 5 and 7 or 5 and 8 maybe.
Yeah. But do you think, given the ball movement, given how our offense, at least optimally, is supposed to play, do you think they're going to give us as much? How much of the trouble they gave us last year was due to their talent and or the Knicks just not being at their best schematically, offensively?
Like, that's hard to answer now because I still don't know how we're going to look, especially this time, like in the playoff, when it comes to playoff time, how we're going to look as a basketball team. Like, I'm still, like I said, like last year or every year, like first 20 games is going to show me how we're going to do as a team. I would like to think positively about our offense if we're going to, ball movement and stuff like that. But I still don't know if it's going to be successful and it means that we're going to be winning games yet. So I don't know.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. That's fair. Anything else on on Atlanta? All right. Toronto is my surprise. Toronto is my surprise team. I wish I would have kept the Eastern Conference like in a separate slide so I don't have to keep going back, but excuse me. So I have Toronto 8. Geoff has them knocking on the door of the play-in, and Ajay also has them knocking on the door of the play-in. I have them squarely in the play-in, and I have them above Philly and Indiana if healthy. And so let's go that.
IQ.
Starting, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Jacob Podol. Off the bench, Jamel Sheed, Grady Dick, Ochai Abaji. I don't know, Colin Murray Boyles. I don't know who that is. And Jonathan Mogbo. I don't know if those are their rookies. Brandon Ingram is in the like Paul George area right now, right? When it comes to, when it comes to
Injuries,
health, and injury, right? But they're top heavy. I mean, Grady Dick, I think, is serviceable. Abaji is serviceable. I don't know much about the other players. I don't know what their shooting is going to be like. Scotty Barnes is not a good shooter. RJ Barrett is not a good shooter unless something changed between last year and this year. But in terms of being able to defend and get in the lane, yeah, I like Toronto. Thoughts on Toronto? Yes, JJ, you're right. Shooting is definitely a concern.
Yeah, they may build the brick wall between the U.S. and Canada with that roster. I don't know. Like having RJ Barrett as your shooting guard is not a great solution for being an efficient team. That's for sure. But I like IQ. I'm not sure that he's a lead guard on a playoff roster. I just don't know that he is. Scotty Barnes still can't shoot the three, but he's okay. Brandon Ingram is borderline all-star for the 25 games that he plays. And Jacob Pirtle's a good center, but Grady Dick can shoot it. I liked Agbaji coming out of college, but I don't know that he's done anything that's particularly amazing. Like I think I like the idea of the Raptors, but I don't know if it's I don't know. There's a lot of talent there. I don't know how it's going to mesh together.
How it's going to mesh. That's fair.
That would be my question, but there's a lot of players who can put up a lot of points in that starting lineup. I'm not sure how good they're going to be defensively either, but I don't know. That's why I kind of put them on the outside looking in. I don't really like. I like the illusion of them, but I don't know that the reality of them is enough to compete seriously in the East.
Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of this roster at all. Geoff already mentioned the shooting. Brandon Ingram is their best player, and he's, like Steph said, he's never healthy.
That's my guy, though.
Yeah, I like Brandon Ingram too, but they're bigs. Like, I'm out on Toronto. I don't see them making the playoffs.
And the thing about it is, there's some duplication between Barrett, Ingram, and Scotty Barnes, right? You can argue that they all three play the same, the same position.
Yeah, I'm good on them.
They have no bench. Like the bench is like zero. Grady Dick could give you a little something. Agbaji maybe a little something. Otherwise, everybody else is just like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of rotation they're gonna have, man. That starting lineup, if they want to win games, that starting lineup is gonna have to play a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe they should get Tibbs as their coach.
Yeah, right. Be perfect fit.
Yeah, y'all think Scotty Barnes is their best player, not Brandon Ingram?
I'm not as big on Scotty Barnes, but Barnes may have that reputation. I think Ingram's a better player than Barnes.
I think so.
I like Scotty Barnes too. If he can ever get that 3-point shot together, he's just an all-around player. But Brandon Ingram, when he's healthy,
Ingram's almost an all-star. Like when
I would
he's
think I would
healthy.
go with Brandon. Say that again, Jeff.
Bi's an all-star level player when he's healthy. Like he's really good. I've always been a fan of his. I mean, I'm not a fan of anybody from Duke, but like guy's got game. Like back me up on this, Jerrell. You're a Tar Heel guy. Like
Yep.
like we can hate Bi's, but like him respect him at the same time, right?
Yep.
You got to respect. I respect him highly. I think when he's healthy, he's really good.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes shoot 27% from the 3-point.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not a better basketball player than Brandon.
I mean, but can you be a poor shooter? I mean, can you have a weakness in one area and still be a better basketball player? Now, I think Brandon Ingram, but Ingram also is more of a slasher, mid-range guy than he is a 3-point shooter. I don't know if he's as good. Like you could play Scotty Barnes could play some point guard for you. I don't know if Brandon Ingram is at his best doing that. But yeah, I would pick Brandon Ingram as well. But Scotty Barnes, if that 3-point shooting ever comes along, he's going to be a good one. I mean, he's good already. Somebody said B.I. is from LSU.
No, he's not.
Nah.
He's from Duke.
No.
Good look at that.
He went to Duke, and he's from North Carolina.
Sherwin said they are both good. 3-point shooting is not everything. Just ask Giannis. I mean, that's true, but your other skills better be like.
Yeah, but he ain't Giannis. Like, if you're gonna
Who is?
Giannis, it's not that many people in the world that is Giannis. So,
Yeah. All right. Anything else on Toronto?
Mm.
All right. Philly. Who I think most of us, well, other than AJ feels even if they're healthy, they're going to be 9. I think if they're healthy, they'll probably be top 4. But Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, Joel Embiid, off the bench, Lowry, Gordon, Kelly Oubre Jr., Justin Edwards, Andre Drummond, Jarrett McCain, who I think is injured again, and Watford. I think if this is the Watford from Portland, he's a serviceable player also. If this team stays healthy, and that's a big if, right? I see them as a top 4 team. I just don't think they're going to stay healthy.
Steph, real quick, this how ESPN had the bench? Like they had Lowry, like as the 6th man, and McCain is situational?
They had a Lowry as the 2nd string point guard. Yep.
To me,
McCain's probably is situational because he's got that thumb injury, so he's out for a month. That's probably why ESPN has that like that. But I actually think that Maxey and Grimes work really well together as backcourt pairing, and I think VJ Edgecombe is going to be a really good rookie. Also, I expect him to have a nice season because he'll have good players around him, and he won't be expected to carry the load as much, in my opinion. But Paul George's health is a big question mark, and can Embiid last the season? If Embiid plays 65 games, this is a team that's going to be in the thick of things for sure. If he plays 45 or less, then it's it's a wrap for them. So that's kind of the way I see it. It all hinges on Joel's health, but if Joel is healthy, this team is a 45-win team easily, in my opinion. And they've got Andre Drummond is a decent backup. Kelly Oubre Jr. is in a role he's supposed to be in off the bench. I think that he and Gordon are good, and Bona is, as DX Relish, our resident Philly panelist on the chat,
Right,
has reminded me that Bona is out there too, and he's not bad either. So, Philly again, it all comes down to health, and that's a big question mark. But if they get a good amount of games from all their guys, they're going to be a tough team, as tough as anybody.
Yeah, and DX Rellis said Dominique Barlow is our power forward. Again, this is the ESPN depth, depth chart. Yeah, I mean, that's a big if. That's a big if. So much would have to fall in place for Philly, But yeah, we shall see. I have them as a playing team because I'm not counting on their health. So do you, Jeff. So do you, Ajay. Jerrell, play off or play in?
I'll say play on for the same reasons. I think this all hinges on Embiid and Paul George. Without both of them, they're not going to make the playoffs.
All right. Let's move on because I do have some questions about the roster. So I have Indiana kind of low. And then we'll go back and I think you guys have them higher than I do. Sorry, I should have had this on the side as well. I have Indiana 10. Jeff has them in a play-in at 8. And Ajay also has them in the play-in at 7. So knocking on the door of the playoffs. All right. So Andrew Nebhard, Benedict Mathurin, who'll probably start, Aaron Nesmith, Siakam, Isaiah Jackson, TJ McConnell, who I believe is injured, is going to miss some time to start the season. Ben Shepherd, Johnny Furphy. Did I get that wrong?
Yeah,
Is it
Johnny Furphy?
It is Furphy? Okay.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin and Jay Huff, who I believe played for Memphis last year, if I'm not.
It's kind of a poor man's Miles Turner. He's a really good shooting big man who can block a shot or two, is my understanding.
Right. Bradley, who got some minutes in the playoffs. Campaign is on that team. I have Shepherd twice. Yeah. Thoughts on Indiana playoffs, play in. Somebody in the chat said that they thought Halliburton would be back after the All-Star break. I'm not sure about that. But thoughts on Indiana?
Yeah, I think playing. They lost their best player, Miles
and Turner.
And Turner.
I was about to say, and Miles Turner is with the Bucks now. So yeah, you can't, when you lose like one or two of your best players, man, you can't just like it's not like I don't like their roster, but you can't just expect a team to just make the playoffs without their guys like that. I don't see it.
I don't know. I look at the Indiana Pacers like bed bugs. Like, you just can't kill them. They don't die. Like, they're just an annoyance, and they're well coached, and there's still enough talent on that roster to be difficult. Benedict Mathurin, I think, will get an expanded role, and he has the ability as a scorer. I think that Obi Toppin, it does a good job for them. I think missing TJ McConnell early in the season is going to be a problem for them. But once he gets back healthy, I could see them winning more games than they lose. Siakam is still an excellent player. The NN boys are tough. I mean, Nembhard and Nesmith are solid. Like, they don't have a lot of weaknesses in their game, and so. Yeah, it's going to be a step backwards for them. I agree, but remember they were an injury away from winning the NBA championship, right? Like, if Halliburton doesn't blow out his Achilles in that game, does Indiana really lose to OKC? I don't know. So if you're talking about taking a step back, you're talking about taking a step back from being the top seed in the conference or the best team in the conference to maybe a play-in team. I think that's reasonable. Like, to me, that is taking 2 steps backwards. And I think Jay Huff may end up starting over Isaiah Jackson before it's all said and done. I think he fits really well with what the Pacers like to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if that works itself out. I totally hope I'm wrong, but I just think with my Boston and Indiana picks, I just think, like, it's tough to get rid of your cockroaches in your house. So you know, when they're there, they seem to survive forever, and that's the way that I view both Boston and Indiana, in spite of, you know, perceived talent deficits.
Yeah, I just think there's a difference between playing off of somebody and being the main guy. And we shall see. You know, we shall see. I think it's tough to lose. You can argue your two best players. And you're asking these guys to step up in big ways. We shall see. Mathurin is very talented. He came off the bench. You know, he'll be getting consistent minutes in the starting lineup. He very well may step up. I like Nimhart's game. You know, we'll see what he can do. Siakam is Siakam, but again, Siakam playing with Halliburton, where you're getting like, I don't know, 8 easy baskets a game, or excuse me, 8 easy points a game is very different than playing with Nimhart, right? And without TJ McConnell. So we'll see. I think we all have them as a playing team. And they have the heart of a lion, and obviously they're going to try to prove that, you know, they're just as good. This is their opportunity. I don't see the Knicks struggling with it, Indiana.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if a 2-7 series is New York, Indiana in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no, I didn't say that couldn't happen. I said I don't see the Knicks struggling.
I know what you said. I'm just saying,
No.
I'm not disagreeing with what you said. I'm just saying that don't be surprised if we're, you know, stuck facing Indiana for a third straight year. Hopefully with better results this time.
It better be. It better be. All right. So I have Boston I think I have Boston outside of, now this is interesting. I have Boston
11
peeking into the play-in. Geoff have them squarely in the playoffs, not at 6, at 5, ahead of the Detroit Pistons. And Ajay has them in
Playing 8.
the play-in, right at 8. All right, let's go back, see what's going on with Boston. Derek White, Anthony Simons, who came over from Portland, Jaylen Brown, who I just heard is injured and may miss some time, Sam Hauser, who they had as the power forward. I think he's like 6'7". Nemus, is that, how do you pronounce that? Quetta. Peyton Pritchard, Baylor, Sherman, Josh Minor, Chris Boucher is there now, and Xavier Tillman, and also Luca Garza.
Not a bad team. Not a bad bench.
I didn't realize Jaylen Brown was hurt. I mean, if he's out for significant time, then they're in big trouble. My reasoning and my logic is that if a healthy Jaylen Brown, Simons and White are as good a small combination of 1, 2, and 3 as there is in the Eastern Conference. Derek White is very good, and Simons is a good scorer, and he will fit well in between those two. My question is always the rebounding and the defense with that group. I'm not sure they have enough in the front court, but I just figure it's the Celtics, and kind of like the Ajay's joke that the Heat get somebody off South Beach. I think that the Celtics just go into a pub and find somebody, it's kind of crazy, whether it's Garza or Boucher or Tillman. I don't know, but I think that when you have that much guard talent, I think that they can do enough to be competitive in games. So maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see them go 0-82. I hate the Celtics pretty much more than anything in life. So I wish nothing but misery on them for all time. And that's why they continue to be good. So,
and Peyton Pritchard may start. So to me, it's more than just talent. I think when you're taking somebody out of their role and you're putting them in a different role, I don't know if things roll the same. Sure, Derek White is a talented player. Don't get me wrong. counting on Derek White. So now he's not just playing off of Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Now you're counting on him to maybe initiate and take a bigger role in the offense. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. Anthony Simons is somebody who's inconsistent. From what I understand, Boston was trying to move that contract and they weren't able to do it. I don't even know if he starts, even though ESPN have him in the depth chart. I'm just not that high on Boston. That doesn't mean I'm not high on Derek White individually, Jaylen Brown individually, who I really like, Peyton Pritchard, who stepped up for them, and he might be even better in that starting lineup, right? Put Derek White back in a role that he's used to. But I'm just not that high. I like Luka Garza a little bit. Chris Boucher.
I think if Joe Mazzulla get this team to the playoffs with that front court, I think he should be coach of the year. Like, I think that's rough. Sam Hauser and Keita at power forward at center. And Jaylen Brown hurt too. I did not know Jaylen Brown was going to be hurt either.
I didn't know that either. Chat told me that tonight. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know he was hurt.
Shame.
Yeah, I think that's.
Hope he's out for 2 months.
Yeah, I think this is tough.
Yeah, and listen, these may not be the starters. Like, would you feel better about them if Peyton Pritchard was starting and Simon scoring was coming off the bench?
They kind of not that they're not the same player. I think Anthony Simons is a better all around player, but they both score. So, like, it don't matter which one of them start or come off the bench to me. I don't know. They don't have a real point guard. I don't see it. But we'll see.
We shall see. All right. Team most likely to exceed expectations and team most likely to underperform. And let's go back. Well, no, before we even do that,
would we move in?
Anybody you want to move up or move down now that we've went through the rosters?
I'm going to leave it right where it is. I know I'm going to be wrong anyway. I hope the Knicks rise, and I hope everybody else falls. That's all I can say.
I would move Philly up a couple of spots. They'd still be in the play-in, though, because I don't see them making the playoff. The 6 teams I have in the playoffs, it's probably going to be right there. Philly probably move a couple of spots but they still within the play-in. In the group we're playing, I'll kick Miami off, man. Put the Raptors in there. Throw Miami out.
Right. Yeah, I would definitely move Miami down, given Tyler Hero's injury to a play-in team. And I think I would move Toronto down. I don't know if I would move them out of the play-in.
I'm about to say, who you moving up?
That's
you moving everybody down.
Oh, that's true. Because now I look at Toronto, I'm thinking about, I like the talent in that starting lineup, but the fit is an issue.
Like, I think the Pacers might be better than Toronto.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, move Indiana up past Toronto, or even move Boston up and Toronto out, maybe.
I'll tell you what, to answer your question a little bit, I think the team that you might move up, that's the potential that nobody's mentioned at all, I don't think, is Charlotte.
Yep.
To be honest with you, I like some of the things that Charlotte's done. I think Colin Sexton is a really good addition to that team. I'm not really sure about their 5 spot. I don't know that that's a strength of theirs, but I like the LaMelo Ball when healthy is good. What's the other kid's name? Brandon
Miller.
Brandon Miller, yes.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. They've got the other Bridges who
Miles.
Miles is not a bad player. So they have some pieces. I don't know if they fit super well together, but I think that their starting 5 is comparable to a lot of those teams that are in that I'll even say 8 to 12 range. Like I could see if Miller and Ball play 65 plus games, I could see that team, hovering around 500 and competing for the play-in. I think that. Oh, and Knippel too. I forget. Good job, JJ. He's a shooter as well. So I think that's going to help them as well. So I think if you're talking about a team that has the potential as a riser, not to the top, but from the bottom and the lottery into the play-in, I think it might be Charlotte.
Yeah.
Anybody else most likely to exceed expectations or that we might be overlooking?
I actually do agree with Geoff for the reasons that he said, just because out of talent alone. But it's all about, like you said, like if they mesh coaching, stuff like that. But talent-wise, if you look at their roster on paper, they have a lot of talent on that team.
Okay. All right. Anybody we're overvaluing?
Overvaluing as a whole team?
Yeah. That has the potential to underperform. I mean, everybody has the potential to overperform, but team most likely to underperform.
I think from my list, I think I'm probably overvaluing the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Milwaukee too.
I'm overvaluing Boston, but I'm hoping to stick it to him, so that it was intentional on my part. Yeah. So size 9 says we're overvaluing the Knicks. That's rough, man.
Wow.
That's rough.
We'll talk about the Knicks. We'll wow. All right, everybody's not on board with the Knicks. All right, so we'll talk about that. Is there an off-season signing that you think will help their team the most?
Desmond Bane. Like at first I said Alonzo Ball, but I completely forgot about Desmond Bane taking over for Caldwell Pope. Like I think,
that's a big upgrade.
Right. If they
may not be enough, but it's still a big upgrade.
Yeah, hopefully it's not enough stuff. Hopefully it's not enough for them. But yeah, I love that Desmond Bane with Paolo and Wagner, or the Wagner brothers, I should say. Yeah, they just got to stay healthy. They was completely unhealthy last year. All of their best players was hurt, including Suggs. So yeah, I like Desmond Bane. If everybody's healthy, that's a very, very good pickup for them.
Yeah, I like Desmond Bane also.
I think Miles Turner was a good pickup for the Bucks.
Yeah,
but it won't be enough though. I mean, their backcourt sucks.
But it's okay. I mean, but do you think he will help? If you think he'll help their team the most?
I think so. I mean, it's not as big an upgrade from Caldwell Pope to Bane as from Lopez to Miles Turner, but in my opinion, it's still an upgrade because Lopez was getting up there in age.
Okay, I'm gonna put on my Homer hat for a minute, and I'm gonna say Jordan Clarkson. Just for the irony of it, because Clarkson's not my guy.
Right. That's how it's not. That's what's up.
I mean, to piggyback off of that, I was thinking about this. If if the Knicks brought in Jordan Clarkson to be our leading scorer off the bench or to give us some scoring punch off the bench, I wasn't that encouraged by what by what I saw in the preseason. Listen, the Knicks were, if I'm not mistaken, last in bench scoring, right? 21 bench points per game, if I'm not mistaken. I think Deuce McBride led the Knicks in bench scoring. And, Deuce will have a similar role this year, but I don't think he's a scorer. He's somebody who, in my opinion, is at his best catch and shoot playing off of guys, right? So the idea was we bring in Clarkson. That's going to give us this, firepower, off the bench. Yabusele is going to give us something. Deuce is going to be a part of it off his catch and shoot or give us something. Yabusele struggling in the preseason. Clarkson, I don't know what Clarkson's doing in the preseason. And again, it may just take time for them to be acclimated, but
there is no time. Season starts next week.
The other thing is that my real answer, though, I was being silly, but
okay.
Norman Powell is in Miami.
Miami.
A really good addition. I mean, he gives them a lot of what they lacked after the Jimmy Butler trade. They now have a legitimate, top tier scorer. I mean, he's a 24-point a game guy in the backcourt, which is exactly what that team needed. And if Harrow is healthy, then that is a team that can definitely be a top 6 team. Without Harrow healthy, they may struggle a bit. But again, having Powell present there maybe allows them to keep the boat afloat until he comes back, and then they can be dangerous. So I'm going to go with Powell in Miami because I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, team most likely to exceed expectations is Miami if Hero is healthy. Just to throw something else in there, I don't know if this player helps their team as much as Desmond Bane and Miles Turner, but Lonzo Ball to Cleveland, particularly with Darius Garland missing some time. If he's healthy, and his 3-ball last year looked much better. I don't know what his percentage was, but in the games that I watched, because he was on my fantasy team, so I like to watch. On and off. He was on and off my fantasy team. His 3-point shot looked much better. At least the form did. And when Darius Garland is back, you got Lonzo Ball with that size that you could play with Garland, and you could play with Mitchell.
You could play Lonzo at the 3 if you needed to with those two. Right. Literally. I mean, he's undersized, but he's a solid defender. He's 6'5". Now, Lonzo Ball was a good pickup, but he's the same reason I didn't choose Porzingis. I can't say with any confidence that either one of those guys is going to play more than 40 games. And so I think if you're absolutely right with the if they get to the 65 game plateau, 100%. I'm much more confident that Powell or Turner are going to do that than Ball.
Yeah, he was healthy last year though. They were just similar to Jonathan Isaac. They just kept him in. They just didn't play him in back-to-backs, and they limited his minutes to no more than 25. He was in super. What do you call it?
Mitchell Robinson protocol.
Right. Is there an underrated signing, maybe not a big signing, but an underrated signing that you think will help a team that we're not really talking about?
I don't know about signing because he was got via trade, but I think Andrew Wiggins. I don't think nobody's talking about Andrew Wiggins on Miami. We just talked about Miami and didn't mention Andrew Wiggins at all. So it's not like he's almost a 28-point scorer still. So I think, talk about it like an addition that is really underrated. It wasn't a signing because, they traded him for Jimmy Butler. But Andrew Wiggins, I think, is a very, very good pickup for them. If you're going to get rid of Jimmy Butler, bringing in Andrew Wiggins, and I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I like Miami. If Hero is healthy, I like Miami. Now Wiggins is not. He's just a different player than than Butler. I don't see him as like a number one on a team, but for like, say if he's your number three, he's going to play good defense. He's going to hit shots. He's multi-talented. He can handle the ball. The thing with him is just, he's almost like a little Tobias Harris, like sometimes he'll just disappear.
True.
But I like Andrew Wiggins on Miami.
You know what, Steph, real quick, since we mentioned Andrew Wiggins, because he after the trade, he played 17 games with Miami. You know who else played 17 games last year for a team and came back? Mitchell Robinson. So I know that might be cheating.
I like that answer.
Mitchell Robinson might be the answer to that question.
I like that, Jerrell.
Especially for a brand new coach. Like, this isn't a Tibbs team. Like, I know this isn't a new team per se, but we have a brand new coach. We don't know how he's going to implement Mitchell Robinson going forward when it comes to minutes and stuff. So Mitch only played 17 games last year, just like Wiggins played 17 games for Miami. So they're both newcomers to their respective teams.
Right.
Technically.
Yeah, for sure. I think the underrated or overlooked signing I'm gonna talk about is Duncan Robinson to Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's the flashiest signing, but I think he does give them necessary shooting and spacing. The last few years, he's been putting the ball on the floor, but I don't think they really need that from him. They need him to just be a sniper. So I would say that's an underrated signing.
Steph, JJ says, don't disrespect the Nets like that. Put their roster up there.
Well, I just did the top 10, 11 teams. I didn't do everybody. Like, I didn't do Charlotte. In hindsight, I probably should have did Charlotte, right?
I think that's the reason he just wanted to say that, because the Knicks going to suck this year again.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get that out there.
I didn't do Washington either.
Queen, my underrated, it's not like I think. I'm just hoping that unrated signing give us more than we expect and than we think he's going to give, and it's Yabusele to the Knicks.
No shock there. Like,
no shock.
Yabu's going to be our starter by the game 10. Right? He's doubling down. He's like, put it all on black, baby. The entire chip stack.
Oh, because I will come here and say, I told you so. I told you so.
I will tip my cap. I will wear a hat so I can tip it, AJ. I promise.
I do hope we get more from. He didn't have a very good preseason, I don't think, but I've seen more from him when he was playing with Philly.
Yeah. Is there a bad matchup for the Knicks out of the rosters that we went over today?
Oh, yeah. We mentioned Atlanta.
Orlando.
Yeah, all the ones that have always been bad matchups for us, they still bad matchups for us, to be honest.
Orlando.
And Detroit, Orlando, and the Hawks. Those three teams right there, I do not want to see in a 7-game series.
I would take Cleveland any day in the playoffs and not in the void.
That doesn't mean I don't have us favorited against all those teams, but they're going to be tough outs.
Tough outs.
Definitely.
I don't like Orlando for us. Okay, I do not like them. They have size, speed, athleticism. They don't shoot well, but they play great defense, which bothers us.
And you could say the exact same thing about Detroit.
Yeah, but again, they bother us in a static offense where Jalen Brunson is dominating the ball. Are they going to be as effective in an offense where the ball is moving and players are cutting and we're running different actions, and it's not only Brunson initiating offense? Maybe we're going through Towns on a set. Maybe we're doing a guard-to-guard pick and roll. Maybe we're doing an inverted pick. Like, there's just so much more that I think Mike Brown is going to do that I'm not sure the Knicks are going to be as easy to guard as we were last year. I felt like we played right into their hands by just putting the ball in Brunson's hands. Oh, bring it up against Dyson Daniels every single possession. I just don't think that's going to be the case. Now, I'm not saying that they're not good defensive teams. I just think the Knicks are going to have more answers this year. Put it that way. I think the Knicks are going to have more answers this year for those teams.
Steph, JJ said you're going to take phone calls. You just
Yeah.
Oh, but Queen, I have to go.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. But JJ, you could now. You want to call?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave after JJ get off.
Come on. Let me wait.
Yeah,
make it quick, JJ.
We gotta hear our guy JJ. He be calling him.
You're on the clock, JJ.
Let's see if I got this down. Let's see.
Getting that Tyler Kolek rotation tonight, bro.
Watch somebody else call in and you ain't JJ. You better be JJ.
It's gonna be Lord Scientist. Watch.
It could be somebody else.
We'll talk to the Lord Scientist.
Lord Scientist, my guy too.
Of course, yeah, of course. Oh, and somebody, King. Hold on, let me get it up here. Well, I don't want to put it up there because you put the phone. Somebody has.
Listen, somebody should have dialed by now. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on, because I started. Say he wanted to get his.
Mm-hmm.
He got his list.
Okay.
New York, Cleveland, Orlando, Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee, Boston, Indiana, and Philly. That's a good list.
That's a good list.
Pretty much like everybody else. It's the same teams. Just little yeah, especially the first six.
Yeah, sleeping on Miami though. Milwaukee might be a little high.
Yeah, I definitely got Milwaukee over. See, that's the thing with Philly, and that's not just me crapping over Philly. You just never know because of the health. Because if they're fully healthy, like Philly is obviously a problem. They're a top 3 team if they're healthy. Yeah. But like I said before, if you're gonna lose your 2 best players, you can't. There's no telling what your team is going to do.
Or ifs and buts, candy and nuts. It'd be a Merry Christmas for all, right?
Wow. Lord Scientist beat
JJ.
That's all good.
It's all good. JJ too slow on the draw, bro. Come on.
JJ got a rotary.
It's not coming through. It's not. Here we go again. Oh, okay. Hello? I don't hear anything.
No, I don't hear nothing. Just the ring.
And I have it coming through the roadcaster. I have it up.
And
I have it connected.
JJ said he called and left name. JJ call and leave messages, man. What's play JJ's message?
All right, call in one more time. I think I had the volume down for the wrong one.
Okay,
all right, but I do have to go though.
All right, so, peace out, brother.
Peace
out.
I don't know if this is a great connection. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't think the connection is great.
Nope.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this ain't working.
I think we're gonna have to retire the phones tonight. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It sounded. You guys heard the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Sound clear, like the connection wasn't.
Yeah, that connection
wasn't great. Try it one more time.
He's just cracking me up.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think it's him. That connection sound bad. Period. Like even the
right.
Yeah, even the ring and stuff.
The connection is bad. But listen, we're gonna be back on Monday for part 2 of the season preview, and this is where we're gonna get into season predictions. Who's the dark horse for the Knicks? you know, you already know where we think the Knicks is going to finish in the Eastern Conference, either first or second. Where will the Knicks rank offensively? Where will they rank defensively? Who will lead the Knicks in minutes, points, rebounds? We're going to do all of that on Monday, which is we don't usually rock on Monday. Okay. So let me just take that. We're having issues with the phone lines. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. Yeah, the connection is bad. Any last words?
So, kind of a surprise. I'm doing a collaboration with Lee Escobedo from KOT, and I don't know if y'all know Schwinn from whatchamacallit, from the Strickland.
Yeah.
Schwinn from the Strickland. Well, he and I go back a long time. We were friends back in the Posting and Toasted comments section before YouTube was ever, before YouTube podcasts were ever even thought of. We're going to do a collaboration sometime this weekend. So probably Saturday at 11, I think, is when we're scheduled to record. I don't know if we're going to do it live or whatever, but if y'all want to check that out, we'd be talking Knicks, so it should be a lot of fun.
You said it's going to be live?
I think that it is, but I can get you more info on it.
Yeah, keep me posted, because you guys going to be live. I would definitely want to watch. Yeah,
so it's a couple of P&T legends and me, so it should be pretty interesting conversation for sure. So
nice.
Somebody want to know, was you a member of Tears for Fears?
Everybody wants to rule the world, but no.
The group? Man, I'm glad all of us are old enough to know who Tears for Fears is.
I don't know who. I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah, they from the 80s stuff. Rock band.
A rock band. Okay, well there you go. That's why.
No.
Wrong genre of music. Queen ain't trying to hear that. Pop music stuff.
Talk to me about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm with you there. Ain't no question.
Yeah, Tears for Fears and Earth, Wind, and Fire not the same.
Yeah,
not in the same stratosphere.
Wiz coming in the door late. OG will be an all-star next season. All right.
Okay.
Wiz, join us Monday when we're going to do all the predictions, all-star, first team, coach, all of that stuff. We're going to do Monday, 9:00, not our usual time, right? So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have your notifications on when we do part 2 of the season preview. Somebody said, what do you know about SW? What? Let me tell you, the 90s? With all those one-hit wonders. Oh my, Tevin Campbell and all those that was my time, man. Anyway, Jerrell, I appreciate you. Geoff, I appreciate you. Ajay, thank you for stopping by. The replay gang, those in the chat, the silent listeners. Listen, there's no chat, there's no channel without you guys listening and tuning in. We appreciate it. Kelly Price. Yeah. Shirley Murdoch, as we anyway, let's
we'll be here all night.
We'll be here all night.
All right. Anyway, until next time, family. Appreciate you. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?
Dope Soul.